Stacy.
And today we're gonna be making dinner tonight. And what are we making today, boo?
Vegan empanadas.
Vegan empanadas. So we're making vegan empanadas today. We're hungry and we're gonna get this show on the road. It doesn't take long to make, and this is gonna be one of many recipes that we're gonna bring to this channel. A lot of people are more interested, especially like people who have never, especially where I'm from, people who have never heard about veganism or know what it is. So this is a way to get out there and show people that it's easy to make these meals, you know, without having to use meat or dairy. Making that with yellow rice. I don't know if Goya is necessarily, it's vegetarian. I don't know if it's 100% vegan.
The shit is good. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if it's 100% vegan, but we're making yellow rice, and sometimes we make red kidney beans. I make it red kidney beans with brown rice, so that's vegan. That's definitely vegan. And if you want to know how this sweetheart got her face like this, check out the last video that we uploaded where I tried to make her look like me. So go check out that last video where I beat her face, you know. And we look forward to seeing you next time. We're gonna go ahead and get this video started. Bye. What we're going to be cooking, we're going to be making some yellow rice. We try to pay attention to, at least I do, I look at all the ingredients. This rice does have a lot of sodium, so keep in mind if you do have high blood pressure or anything like that. It is a lot of sodium in here, but you can eliminate some of that by getting rid of some of the seasoning water that it comes with. And we're also going to need some Goya discs. These are for the empanadas. I believe these are vegetarian. Actually they're vegan. They come with just wheat inside of them. You always want to look at the contains. So these are vegan. I heard that the Goya sofrito is not vegan. The frozen one is. We're not going to use this one, but I just wanted to demonstrate for people who don't have it. It shows here that it only has soy and wheat. To me that's vegan, but I don't know. I've heard that it's not. Maybe it was produced in a factory that uses meat. So we're not going to use this one because this also has a lot of sodium as well. We're actually going to use a fresh one. This is a fresh homemade sofrito that her mother made. The reason why we put it in a stuffed olives because we want to show that you do need stuffed olives. The Spanish ones with the red pit inside, we actually don't have it, so we're just going to make them without it. But you do need stuffed olives. So just ignore the sofrito. You need to get stuffed olives as well. And this is just fresh sofrito inside. So we're going to use this instead of the Goya. You also need fresh garlic, fresh granulated garlic. And we're also going to use an onion with the garlic. And we also need a pack of sazon. You always need sazon. And if you have adobo, you can use adobo too. But we're just going to use sazon. And we're also going to just use some seasonings from our spinning rack, our seasoning spinner. We have a seasoning spinning rack. So we're going to use seasonings from here. And then we're just going to get everything started. The main part, you have to get groundless beef. It doesn't matter what brand, but my favorite brand is the Gardein one, which is vegan. You get the top. So these are dairy-free, gluten-free, and it's always vegan. This does have soy. Keep in mind if you're trying to keep soy out of your diet. So it does contain soy, but this is 100% vegan. And this is the Gardein brand. They have other brands, but we like to use this one. This is the closest you can get to ground beef. So I like to use this for empanadas. And any choice of oil that's good for like frying or sauteing. You can bake the empanadas if you want. The frying is just very quickly. You can use peanut oil, avocado oil, any type of oil. And so the first step we're going to do is I'm just going to defrost some of the empanada discs. It's tricky trying to defrost these, but I'm going to defrost them the best way I can. And then we're just going to get some hot oil in the pan. And we're going to start to saute the onions and garlic. And we'll be right back. So right now we're just sauteing the onions and garlic. And we're preparing it, getting it nice and soft so that we can add the ground beef to it. And then we can start seasoning and adding everything that's inside. So once we go ahead and add the meat in, once you see that the onions are starting to reflect, and look very like clear and nice and shiny, then you can start to add the ground crumbles inside, the Gardein crumbles. And we'll be right back when we start to add the seasonings after adding the meat. So we just added the ground crumbles. They're still frozen, but they're able to be broken up. And we're just gonna let that, this is already pre-cooked. This is not like real meat where you'll get sick if it's like undercooked. This is essentially pretty cooked. You just have to heat it up. So we're just gonna, I'm just letting the oil touch it from the warm onions and garlic. Let it get a little bit, you know, cooked, and let it get some brownness to it. The onions, the garlic, and the meat is nicely incorporated, and there's a nice brownness to the crumbles. Pretty much, it's pretty much hot. Now we're gonna add one of the sazon packets, and then we're gonna add the sofrito in there as well. So we're just gonna sprinkle one of these packets around, get it nice and red, and get some seasoning in there. Some people use 2. This is essentially like a big pack of ground beef. If you can see, this fills up the whole entire pan, but I think this is enough. We're just gonna use some other seasonings as well. There's really no salt in this dish. We're gonna be getting all the sodium that we're gonna eat from the rice. If you see your meat, your mock meat starting to stick to the bottom and there's no oil or juices, just add a tiny bit of water if you want, just to get some, just to keep everything from sticking. And you know, just don't add too much or you're gonna take away from the texture, the vegan meat texture. So just try to add a little bit so that you can keep your pan nice and hot and keep things going while it's cooking. Scoop of the sofrito. This is actually not a little scoop, but we're gonna use this much. I would say that's a tablespoon. I'm not using it, but it's about a tablespoon. And I'm actually gonna incorporate a little bit more because this is fresh. Okay. And now we're just gonna stir that and incorporate that in with the rest of the meat. So I've incorporated some of almost basically 2 tablespoons of the sofrito, the homemade sofrito in here. It just depends. It's not a strong flavor, so it depends on how you like it. I'm liking the smell so far. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of a touch of black pepper. And Dollar Tree also has this really great salt-free seasoning. It's like, it's basically like Mrs. Dash, but it's pretty much from Dollar Tree. And it has everything under the sun in it, and it's so good. And it's salt-free, so I'm gonna incorporate a little bit of that in here as well. So we're gonna put a little bit of that in here. Get the flavors going. And don't be afraid to be heavy-handed because there's no salt in it. It's just garlic and like pepper and lemon and all that good stuff. And now we're just going to add a little bit more water. We're just incorporating water as we go because I'm adding stuff to it and it's drying out really fast. So now I'm just going to cut the oven off. So everything's nice and incorporated and it's pretty much done. This is pretty much the meat. So now the next step that we're doing, we transferred all of the meat into a bowl. And now we're getting ready to form our empanada. Flour on our cutting board so that I can at least stick it without an issue. So now we have our meat, which is in a circle on the empanada disc. We're going to fold the flap in half. And we're going to fold it like this. And we're just going to make sure all the meat is tucked in. Press it. I'm sorry, we're going to use the fork. I'm sorry about that. So now we're also going to flip it and do the same thing on both sides. So we're frying up the last one. The oil is pretty hot, but we did majority of them. Okay, that's ready to come out. See it start to peaking, it starts to get brown. Once you see it start peaking and getting brown on one side, this is when you start to see the bottom crumbling up. And don't mind the hot oil. Just try to maintain your oil at a medium. We have a brand new stove, so this thing gets hot so fast. And then we have the yellow rice done over here. So here's the finished product. So we got the yellow rice going, and we have the empanadas. Some of them are dark, but even still, it's just crispy, you know. She's so extra. This is just basically what we're eating for dinner, and we appreciate you guys watching. This is just one of many more videos, and talk to you soon. Bye.